Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt with 86, and I'm actually taking a look at a mouse that's been out for a minute today. But my main reason for buying it was I get a lot of questions about it, and I wanted to be able to have some way to answer people on it, because they often ask between like the M711 and the M721 Red Dragon mouse. I'll link that down below or put cards up if you haven't seen those videos. How does it compare? And I was like, well, I don't have a good answer, but enough people finally asked that I said, okay, I'm gonna buy one so I can kind of be like, oh, I'd go with the 203, or I'd go with the 711, or I'd go for the 721, depending on what you're looking for. Now, I will say for the lower end Logitech mouse, this is kind of like the Corsair Harpoon of Logitech's. This is Logitech's Corsair Harpoon. It's the lower end, but still very good mouse. I think right now, as I looked the other day, it was going for like 29 bucks, so pretty good. Usually it's between $20 and $40, which is still kind of pricey for a mouse for some people. But if you're looking to use a branded, name brand, big brand mouse, and you want to not spend that much and get a good mouse, the 203 is where it's at. Now, I also want to cover that the 102, the 103, and the 203 are all the same mouse. It just depends on what region you're in. So it may be called the 102 or the 103 where you are, or the 203 where you are, but the 203 is the 102 and 103 mouse. Now, with the sensor, I can really only give it a best guess, and I even checked Reddit sources. I checked some mouse enthusiasts to see if anybody had a good definitive answer on it. I'm sure somebody would have torn this apart and found out what UL number is on there to kind of track it back to what sensor it is. And it seems, scam likely calling me again. But I can't seem to find a definitive answer on who the manufacturer of the sensor is. And it may be that it's Logitech's own Mercury or Hero variant sensor. It could be that it's a 3330 something sensor or a 3360 something sensor. And best guess by even Rocket Jump Ninja, the real authority on gaming mice, in my opinion. He said he wasn't really sure. He did a little bit of research, but he couldn't find anything definitive either. But that was two-ish years ago, I think, when he did it. Still, I don't have a good answer for you. I'm going to guess something 3360 if I had to guess, but I'm not 100% sure. Some people think it's a 3366, but the liftoff test kind of makes me feel like it's not, because I feel like the 3366 can take a lot more liftoff abuse than this sensor can. Now, the weight range is between 85 and 90 grams. Now, if you check this out 2 years ago or so, the mouse only maxed out at 6,000 DPI. Had some different looking specs on the box, but with a firmware update, they were able to up it and since have rebranded the boxes with 8,000 DPI and all the new specifications or the new abilities of the mouse. They've increased it allegedly by up to 33%. So if you watched this video 2 years ago, it's kind of like a newish video now, I guess, because there's different stuff going on with it, just slightly. A firmware update that was able to increase the mouse's efficiency 33%, allegedly. Now, some people may ask, if you're a palm gripper, is this a good mouse for you? And it is, my opinion, it is not. If you're a claw gripper, this is a lot more comfortable to hold. And that has a lot to do with the side buttons. They're kind of small and narrow and a little bit harder to grip if you're a palm gripper to get your thumb up there to them. But I have found that if I'm kind of claw gripping, I have the most control and enjoy using the mouse the most. It is a 6.5 foot non-braided cable. It's that nice kind of rubber cable though, the kind that's not going to degrade on you in a matter of moments. So I mentioned the liftoff test. Let's pause right here and check out the liftoff test. So I almost forgot to show you guys, or to at least try and demonstrate to you over recording here, what the switches sound like. So we're going to stop here and press all the buttons, and you get to kind of hear what they sound like, all the clicks, depression actuation. Depression actuation on this mouse is actually pretty sensitive. So while it's not terrible, some people may prefer a little bit more resistance. Now, I'm pretty used to something that's easy to depress because the Corsair Scimitar Pro is still my daily driver, and it's got some of the softest switches that, you know, at first it was a learning curve. You'd pick up the mouse or move it a little bit and accidentally press your fire or left or right click. And, you know, that took some getting used to. And on this mouse, it's a little bit more resistance, but it's still pretty soft. So you might have some accidental misclicks. At least this is my experience as somebody that uses a really sensitive mouse already. Anyways, let's pause here and listen to the buttons real quick. And we'll segue from that right into the fact that Logitech's new UI setup, which is going to change. So if you watch this video in a year and a half, 2 years later, the Logitech UI is going to look a lot different. But in there, you can do everything you probably expect you would be able to do with this mouse. It is an RGB mouse with 16.8 million colors. You can go in there and set different modes from like breathing, cycling, and flash, I think. And there's a couple other ones. You'll see them on the screen, or I'll post them below. And we can break here real quick and I'll show you what those look like. Now, all 6 buttons on the G203, 102, 103, 203, are all capable of being programmed. And the mouse does feature onboard memory, so if you make a profile and store it to the mouse, you just take the mouse with you, and that profile memory is saved on the mouse. The switches are rated at 10 million click life cycle, and usually when you see 10 million clicks, something that's about that 2 to 3 years old, you're expecting to be Omron. I'm not sure if they're Omron. If I'm to guess, that is my best educated guess, at a 10 million click life cycle, it's something that comes from Logitech, from something that was manufactured 2 to 3 years ago, then you're looking at Omron switches. And of course, as should be expected from pretty much any mouse that labels itself a gaming mouse these days, does poll at 1000, which is that 1 millisecond response time, crucial when you're playing a game. But anyways, the main reason that I wanted this mouse and to have it and to test it out was so that I could answer the opinion of other people, or answer my opinion to other people and tell them, yeah, either this is better or worse than what you are looking for in that mouse, because it often gets asked to me, what do I think about the 203 Prodigy or the 102 Prodigy or 103 Prodigy? It's all the same mouse. And now I have a way to answer them. So that's the main reason. You guys have a great day, night, whatever it is. I'll see you in the next video that I do.